If it hurts, you ain't the brakes, no get you, don't let up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the games after this win it. Press you again, we're here for the first mate. Carry like you never 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Unbelievable place. Great university. Knoxville's unbelievable city. Great people. The passion for football is even greater than I thought it would be. And man, Neyland Stadium, I said it, a couple of years ago, and I still think it's the best football experience for a college football fan or a player in the country.
The culture that Hype and everyone has created in this building, it's been phenomenal on teams, and we're only going to continue to be better. And the standard around here, I've said it before, I'll say it again, standard is to be the damn best. And we're never stopping.
We've got to raise the bar, and we've got to continue to raise the bar. I don't think any of those young men, when they signed to come to Tennessee, they signed to say they wanted to come and be a part of a 7-6 program. They said they wanted to come and compete for championships, SEC championships, national championships. I know that's what I want. I know that's what Tennessee wants. I know that's what the expectation is. So we've got to continue to reassess everything that we're doing and make sure that we're continuing to move the needle in the right direction.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, those the rich men. I wish politicians would look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
And I'm Coach Jay.
And it's football time in Tennessee. Man, you know how excited I am to actually get on here and talk about football? Like, I'm so excited. We've got something to talk about. Last week was a rough one, man. A rough one when you're streaming Monday morning, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Friday morning, Saturday morning. It's like, man, eventually I need some football to talk about. It's going to be a fun one, Coach. It's going to be a fun one today.
Amen. Looking forward to it. It's always nice to let the game marinate for a little bit, take in what all the haters have to say, what all the pundits have to say, what all the people you trust have to say, what coach has to say, how the players feel about it, and just kind of breathe in the new beautiful football air, Boogie. It's certainly a welcome sight back. I've been enjoying a couple games today, and looking forward to a good LSU FSU game tonight.
I forgot. That's at what? That's at 7:30 or 8 my time.
I think it's 7:30 or 8. I think.
Yeah, I got to get that pulled up while we're live.
There you go. Yeah, I've already directed Mrs. J in the background that I will need football injected into my veins. at
We were
4:30.
we were talking about all the the spectrum and all that drama with ESPN and stuff, and I was kind of doing a sales pitch for YouTube TV. I love it, man. Like when you go and like you click on a Tennessee game, and then it pops up and says, "Do you want to record every Tennessee game, every FCC game, every NCAA game?" I'm like, yes, yes, and yes. Give me all the football. No limit on your DVR. Like you can't ask for anything better,
Easy.
man. I can go watch
Easy
any
money.
college football game after it's over with at any time. Like, and there's no limit or structure on my DVR. YouTube TV is the way to go, man. Is that what you do?
Oh,
What you got? What do you guys have? Is it YouTube TV?
I have ESPN, I have Hulu Plus, and I have YouTube too. I'm a bit psychotic when it comes to football season. I'll probably drop Hulu off in the off season because with the Hulu you get the free ESPN also. So usually
Yeah.
during football season, I'll light both of those up.
Yeah, we the kids love Disney Plus, so I've got the Hulu, Disney Plus. I don't even know if I know my password to Hulu. I don't even think I know how to get into it, but I've got Disney Plus and I've got ESPN Plus, all that good stuff. Guys, come on in, smash the thumbs up. It is the Fan Call-In Show. This is your show for the fans, by the fans, means something around here. Look, it's the reason Coach Jay streams with me like 3-4 times a week. Because of these fan call-in shows. So as of right now, the link is out to Boogie's Boss or higher. You want to come on the show, come on the show. We'll put it out to Talkin VAWLS Elite here in just a second. But let's run down the chat. Let's see who's hanging out bright and early in the chat. Vols fan 83 was here. So he listened to the day after video earlier this morning. Agree with your take on Joe, although I was not surprised with the Nico chance in the first half. There was no need to panic after a few series in the game. That's what this fan base does. Rocky Top Tom's in the house. What's up, brother? Matt Dumit is here. Wes Marshall is here. Says, what's up? What's up, buddy? Good to see you in the chat. Bob King is here. Says, good evening, Vol Nation. Who else we got? Let's see. Let me scroll down. Still Rocky Top Tom. Daniel Campbell is in the house. What's up, buddy? Isaac Owens is here. Pit Boss. Marcus Rush, both dropping custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. I love it. Joey Carroll is here. He always reminds you. Joey's working for me. He always reminds everybody to make sure that they smash the thumbs up. Appreciate that. James Lawson is here. What's up, buddy? Blue Raspberry Guy says, Boogie is a grifter. And I'm going to guess that he disappeared after he said that. But I love that I live rent-free in people's heads like Blue Raspberry Guy. Like he hates me so much that he has to show up 13 minutes before the stream. So shout out to you. I am a grifter, brother. I'm living the dream. I'm grifting my way to retirement, hopefully, on the backs of these amazing people in the chat. Tate Sigmund says, what's up, y'all? Guys, come on in. You know the deal by now. Smash the thumbs up. Share this thing out. Let people know we're live. We appreciate that support. I'm grifting so much that Retro, a Georgia fan, drops a $2 super chat to let us know that they are 1-0. But I'm such a grifter that he drops a super chat, and this is what I do to him. This is what I do. If I could just find it. See, sometimes I don't, the jokes don't work. See, I feel like I've already missed the joke because I've got 8,000 clips. But Retro says 1-0. Go Dogs, $2 super chat. I say this, Retro. I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none. That's the clip that keeps on giving all year long. Seth Holiday comes in, drops a $5 super chat. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. We appreciate that, Seth. You keep the lights on around here. Will Murley for 10. Very unlikely, but what happens if Bama beats LSU? We beat Bama, UGA beats us, and Bama wins the SEC. Holy smokes, I'm already lost. UGA and Bama are 12-1, and us and LSU are 11-1. I know many things have to happen, but not impossible. Holy smokes, I can't keep track, Will. That is a lot. Bama beats LSU. We beat Bama. So you're basically saying the teams that would end up in the SEC championship were beaten by teams in the opposing conference, the West or the East. So that would be interesting. That would be interesting. This is the last year we have to worry about that, though, because expanding the playoff. Coach, you think they do away with conference championships once they expand, and the SEC is going to just one big division? I don't know. What's the point of an SEC championship if it doesn't matter?
It kind of seems pointless, but at the same time, there's just a lot of money wrapped up in those conference championship games, and until they replace that money somehow, I'm not quite sure how that happens. But yeah, it kind of makes less and less sense to have a conference championship. As far as a scenario like that, maybe it's just my battered Vol syndrome, but I feel like we get screwed somehow if all that happens. I don't know.
Let me bounce over here real quick to the community tab and go Talkin VAWLS Elite and higher. And I put a little note in there, guys. Make sure you have headphones on because sometimes if you don't, there's an echo. We want to make sure we clean that up. So put your headphones in. Come on in. It's the fan call-in show. You guys got to make it happen. You guys got to make it happen. We got a $20 super chat from Stevie J. That ain't cheap. Says, I saw a team yesterday with some swagger in their step. Defense looks way better. Are they a Georgia or Alabama defense? No, but they are a defense. That's a selling point, right, Coach? I think if there's the biggest storyline coming out of the game, and we both rewatched it. You know, I was talking to you before we went live. The selling point's the defense, right? That's the takeaway coming out of week one.
Yeah. The defense played a heck of a game. I think I was going through it, and the players that had a tackle for a loss were Herring, Tank, Walker, Barron, Pierce, Beasley, Tamarian McDonald, Byron Eason, Omari Thomas, and West. And then all kinds of other players got on the board. So it was certainly everyone getting a piece of that pie and getting in on the fun. I thought the defense was fast, athletic, and physical. And for the most part, a lot tighter in the back end. I think those tackles for a loss and the way the front seven played was an aid to our back end player. Am I willing to crown our secondary as fixed? Probably not. Probably not against Virginia, but we'll keep on making positive progress and see if we can't get that problem solved. It's going to be fun to watch.
I saw somebody on VolQuest, just regular person on the message boards, talking about the game and said, if you're not talking about the defensive backs, that means they probably had a pretty good day, right? And coming out of the game, really the only defensive back we're talking about is Kamal Hadden for not turning his head. But other than that, I feel like these defensive backs had a good day. And again, it's Virginia. That's the asterisk, right, going into it. But I would much rather be in the situation we're in now, talking about how we didn't see any problems versus, you know, a game like an App State or an Air Force where you're sweating bullets down to the wire. You know, Tennessee did what they were supposed to do, but they looked dominant, man. They looked dominant, and I think it was Wesley Walker that met with the media afterwards, and they asked about the defensive line, and he's like, yes, they're driving the bus right now. He said the defensive line is driving the bus, and you need those dogs in the trenches in the SEC, and they're doing what they need to do, and they make our lives a whole lot easier. You know, I think this football team, man, I also loved you had Jalen Wright and Dylan Sampson up there with Wesley Walker, and they were kind of talking to D Samp about, you know, the running back room, and he's like, look, I'm grateful for what Jabari Small and Jalen Wright did. They got me down to the end zone, and then I get to punch it in. And he's like, you know, the competition between them, and he confirmed it, you know, it's making them better. And he's like, it's not like I'm over here hoping that Jay Wright or Jabari Small doesn't have success. It's that I know I have to be better in order to compete with them. We've talked it all offseason. Now we're seeing the proof in the pudding. Competition breeds success, Coach.
Yeah, there you go. And I think we're seeing a heck of a lot of competition, really at every position. I mean, you saw a little bit more of a rotation in the receivers, even, which we haven't seen in the past. I mean, part of it was due to injury. You know, you get Squirrel a little banged up there for a second, so I think we saw a little more Thornton. But I think we're going to continue to see him anyways. They didn't target him a lot. I thought that was kind of on purpose. But when they did target him, he looked fast. He looked athletic, and he looked like he had sticky hands. The secondary, we were certainly cycling people in and out of there. As you mentioned, Kamal Hadden can get his dang head around, we'd be in good shape. But besides that, I can, you know, off the top of my head, recall one busted coverage by Gabe Judy Lawley and one by Tank McCullough over the middle where he got sucked in a little further than he should be. But beyond that, the secondary looked good, and we're cycling out. And once again, this front seven is driving the bus, guys. You know, Elijah Herring, right? 5 tackles, Peely 4 tackles, McCullough 4 tackles, Wesley 4, Lott 4, Arian Carter 4. It's just, you know, you can just keep going down that list. I'll spare you, but suffice to say, they all looked good. Someone asked me, they DM'd me on, I can't remember if it was YouTube or Twitter right now, but they asked me what I thought of Herring getting a lot more reps than Arian Carter. And I kind of just viewed that as Beasley was needed on the field a lot more from a play calling standpoint and how the defense gets their plays on the field. And Herring comes in when Peely's out, and Carter comes in for Beasley when Beasley's out. So that's kind of how I took that. I didn't look at it as any means for panic. I think it was just kind of how the defense is set up and where they want Arian Carter on the field. They want Arian in that leadership role when he is out there, and they're grooming him for it. So let him breathe a little, and he'll be great.
Was Arian in the game more in the second half? I know you rewatched it. I rewatched the first half. Still need to finish the second half. But I saw, like you said, it was Beasley and Peely, or it was Beasley and Herring. But I thought Herring looked really good, man. In the rewatch, I thought he looked really good.
He looked good. I thought he looked good yesterday. You know, he plays downhill. He plays with good angles. He plays fast, and he plays smart football. I thought Herring looked great, and quite possibly is taking a step right in front of us. But I thought all the linebackers looked great. I thought Peely looked athletic. I think before the game I was saying I'm excited to see this athleticism out of Peely. And it's exactly what I saw. Beasley looked great, man. Anytime they'd want to dump it off to a running back,
he kills somebody.
Beasley was right there smashing. It looks like he's going to continue to build on what he was building on last year. Arian Carter looked like he was playing a little flat once again at the start of the second half when they put in some poor angles, playing a little flat and high. But once he settled down, he got in on 4 tackles that were kind of gang tackles, and I believe he had 2 solo tackles with a really nice stuff on a 3rd and short to set up a punting situation. So you got to come away really, really happy. One other quick note. I thought Joseph's looked really good against the run, and I thought it was kind of his weak link. I know he didn't get home with the quarterback yet, but I think that will come. I think we've already seen his ability to do that. And the part of his game that was missing, stopping the run, he seemed to really nail down. He was either squeezing the running back down to the inside, or he was pinching that edge to where he was either making the stop or passing him off to the corner to his outside. So really happy with the growth from Joseph's as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming out of the game talking about Barron and Pierce, right? Because they both had a couple of sacks each.
Yeah.
And Joshua Joseph, we've seen what he can do. And it was, you saw a lot of Joshua Josephs last year in pass rushing situations, right? It's like, all right, get in there, pin your ears back, and go get the quarterback. And that's what Josephs did. So it's good that you noticed that. It's just a beautiful thing because there's so much talent on this defensive line. Guys, it is a fan call-in show. There's some of you guys in the back. We're going to get you on here in just a second. Also, a couple of you guys popped in and then you left. Get back in here. We're going to run this thing, fan call-in show, an hour, 2 hours. As many of you guys want to come on the channel, we're going to do it. Jenny for $2 says, I know a couple of awesome UGA fans. They are twins. And then Kaylin follows it up and says, some of our best friends are Georgia fans. Well, you know what I say to both of you ladies? I say this.
I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that, no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none.
I'm sticking to it. That is what I believe. Wesley Page for $2. Thank you for the super chat. Says, loving the content. Guys, I'm glad you guys are digging it. I kind of question whether you guys want more videos, more live streams. We're going to be live again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eric Kane's going to be in the house. BBD is going to come hang out for the back half of that show, but I'm still going to try to drop a video tomorrow afternoon. So I'm going to try to keep the live streams coming, a video every day if possible. Going to bring you guys as much content as possible, but glad that you're digging it. Wesley, Smoky Mountain search for 5 people need to lay off Milton. You only had 9 incompletes for 70%, and 1 was the Keaton drop, accounted for 234 yards and 4 touchdowns. Yeah, if you've not watched the day after video, go back and give that a watch. I stepped on some feelings in that one. Stevie J for $20. Stevie, what are you doing, bro? You're spending that money. We appreciate the support. That ain't cheap. Says Milton played well. Some of those drops the receivers caused. They have to trust him and go all out for the ball. Thank you, Stevie J, for the super chat. I want to get some of these listeners in here to talk about it. I want to talk about Joe Milton. I want to talk about the defense. I want to know what you guys think of this football team. All right, who's already got some white noise? Who's got an air conditioner running? We got to get that air conditioner cut off.
That's that Trucker Dougie.
That would be me.
It's Dylan. Dylan's got some type of air conditioner going on.
Is it
We'll
me?
see.
Okay. Hold on 1 second.
Now you sound better.
I'm
Now you
like,
sound
yeah,
good.
it's like 100 degrees out.
Okay.
Now you sound good. All right, we're good. We're dialed in. We're clean. We're ready to go.
Am I
Dylan, give
good?
me your takeaways. What are your thoughts
Okay.
coming out of week 1? Josh Heupel, year 3.
Week 1. There were goods, there were bads, but I mean, I feel like Joe played a good game. I feel like the defensive line was flying around. Linebackers looked good. First team O line looked good. Second team, not as much. Wide receivers wasn't really their best day, but the run game was flying around, so it's hard to be mad at that.
What'd you guys think of Caleb Webb? One thing that bothered me, it was a third and I don't remember what it was, third and something. Nico with a good throw. Caleb Webb kind of shied away from contact and came up short on a third down. I didn't like that. Didn't like that.
Yeah, go forward. He'll get better with time. He will. I was wondering why he didn't go fix myself. Yeah, he'll get better.
What were your takeaways, Tom, overall, top to bottom, for week 1 against Virginia?
I thought the offensive line schemes looked great. They had some pulls. They had some folds. They stood up a little bit, but they'll get lower as the season goes on. They can't do that against Florida and Bama, though. There were a couple of plays where they pancaked some people, but there were a couple of plays where they stood straight up. And there was one where Joe got sacked in the first quarter. Or was that the early second quarter where he got sacked? But
early second, I believe.
They'll get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Crawford.
Was that who gave up the sack? Was Crawford?
But yeah, the defense looked
Yeah, Crawford's a better football player than he played in that game. I know I've been picking on him some.
We were talking, me and Coach Jay were talking right before we went live about that right tackle position. Felt like John Campbell played pretty dang good on the left tackle. Right tackle, last year we had J.J. Crawford competing with Gerald Mincy, right? They were competing all camp, and Mincy won the starting job. And then it seemed like when J.J. Crawford came in, there wasn't really any lack of production there. But somebody, one of the listeners, Toby, if you're in the chat, shout out Toby Farley, one of the best professional wrestlers in the state of Tennessee. Love me some Toby Farley. But he sent me a message. It was a clip from Swain. I don't watch Swain much anymore these days, but Swain was talking about Gerald Mincy, and he didn't seem too happy with the fact that they brought in John Campbell to play left tackle. Gerald Mincy wanted to lock down that left tackle position. And maybe the vibes I got, the way I read into it, Mincy wasn't happy about that and didn't really buy in. So what do you guys think about J.J. Crawford, Gerald Mincy on that right tackle? Have you guys heard anything about that storyline that Gerald Mincy maybe didn't want to buy in this fall camp?
I know, but on first spec, if you're an offensive lineman and you got that kind of an attitude, then hey, compete or move out the way. I mean, we're in the SEC. You're playing offensive line. You got to knock people. Yeah,
and that's what we were talking about at the top of the show, me and Coach Jay, like with the running back room, right? Competition breeds success, but if you're not willing to compete and you just kind of pack up your ball and go home, then maybe you'll just get passed by, right? Yeah. All right, we got Rocky Top Rules in the house. We got the Sethinator in the house. Trucker Dougie, you were in Nashville, right? Weren't you at the game?
I was. I was going to try to stay on the show, but we were in an Uber, and I had some friends with me, and it was kind of loud. They were all talking. Like, so I'm just going to hop off. So,
what was the atmosphere like? What was the atmosphere like down there in Nashville? Basically a home game?
Yeah. Dude, literally, it was like Nissan Stadium became me. Like, literally. Nothing different. We actually broke a record. I don't know if you guys seen that. But we broke a record for a largest sporting event at Nissan Stadium.
Cool.
We've done that. That makes twice we've done that.
Yeah.
The last 2 times we've been in Nashville, we broke the record.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of, like, they've hosted a playoff game. Like, how do you, like, but you know what? I'm all for it.
Because it's Tennessee.
I don't have a voice, right? Well, I'm a Bears fan, so, so that's...
I'm sorry.
There you go.
We're getting there. I
Talking
barely have a voice, and then I drove all day, so I'm, like, half out of it. I still gotta go eat dinner and go to bed. But yeah, it was a cool experience. It's my second time at Nissan. Nice stadium, kind of. Not kneeling, but I'm gonna try to go one of the games. It definitely won't be the Texas A&M game. They've already sold that out. So, uh, but I think they looked all right. I'll be honest. That first half, a little rusty, but they picked it up. So I'm glad with the finish. That was a good strong.
Rocky Top Rules, what do you think, buddy? Is this your first time on a fan calling show?
Yeah, this is my first time on, man.
Awesome,
I've been
brother.
a supporter for a long time, but just moved up my membership to Talkin VAWLS Elite, so I can get on the show.
I love it, brother. Appreciate the support, man. What'd
Nice,
you think? What are your
yeah.
thoughts coming out of week one? What'd you like,
Man,
dislike, concerns?
Running game looked awesome. We and it wasn't like we were trying to get outside. It was a lot up north and south. I thought Jalen Wright looked awesome. You know, he kind of reminded me of, may not be the best role model, but Le'Veon Bell running the ball. He's patient, waiting on his blocks to form, getting north and south. And once the blocks formed and got to the second level, got to the third level, and took off. So I thought the running game looked great. Like Trucker Dougie said, the started off slow, but I mean that's expected. First game jitters, get it out of your system. I thought Joe, I hate Ramel dropped that deep ball because I think the momentum would have changed completely. That game would, I think, we would have been up 35, 42. 3 at halftime if he catches that ball. I mean, it just completely changed the game. So, but hey, a win's a win. You have to start off somewhere. So, 1-0, make it 2-0.
I agree. Seth, what'd you think, buddy, coming out of week one? Speaking of, where you been? What have you been in a cave with the freaking Gabe somewhere? What are you doing with your life? Like, you just disappear from NCAA streams. You disappear from fan calling shows. You come back in here with your hat on backwards thinking you're a rock star. Where have you been? And then you can give me
I've been busy, man. We opened up a new part of our business, mine and my dad's, and I've been there most nights till about 8 o'clock at night. I've just not had any time for anything hardly.
That's no excuse, but you can still give me your opinion on the game.
Hey, man, our defense was lights out, and I don't know if it was already taken or not, but I flew in the chat earlier before the stream started here. But we can call ourselves the Orange Crush. Our defense, the nickname the Orange Crush. Oh, that's pretty cool. But
I felt like an idiot. I felt like an idiot in the day after video because I said Orange Swarm twice, and then I was like, wasn't that Butch Jones's defense?
That
Yeah,
is
I think it was.
I thought so.
Get the garbage can out. Get the garbage can out.
I said it once and then I said it again. And I was like, I'm gonna try to pretend that this is cool.
Yeah, he ain't gonna have a job.
yeah. If you guys see
Yeah,
the
no,
picture
his
of him
first
with
game
the
didn't
Bama,
go well.
with the Bama player number 73, and it said, "Butch, how many points did you give up this week?" And he's pointing at 73. Like, it's almost sad at this point.
Oh man,
I almost feel sad for him.
Yeah. JT Strout.
Go ahead, Dylan.
JT Strout was his starting quarterback, by the way.
Did he start?
Yeah.
I assumed that he would be the starter. Yeah. JT Strout.
Yeah.
What is he, like 42 years old now?
Terrible. Gotta be.
Sunshine Ball, what did wait, hold on, let me, I'm so confused because do you really change your name every week or do you leave it at Sunshine Ball now?
Or do you have two accounts?
On lives, it's Sunshine Ball, but in the chat, it's Negaball.
Okay, because I was starting to wonder, did somebody steal your old name? Why do you what are you doing with your life, Sunshine Ball?
It's a weird Google account feature where you can change it on both.
Oh, okay. Well, what did you think? Since you're full of sunshine and rainbows, what did you think of week one?
I mean, I thought it went well. I mean, how can you complain about the win like that? I mean, the
defense,
defense.
People on Facebook did it.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's true, but the defense looked great. I mean,
that's all you got to say. Are you done?
Yeah, they look great. Yeah, there you go. It's
Yeah.
a hot take.
They did look
Bob,
great.
I know,
Hey, they
Bob, I
slowed
know
down.
this is your first fan calling too, right? This is your
Yes,
first
it is.
I see
Yeah,
you in
it
the chat
is.
all the time. You're
Awesome.
here every freaking week. Appreciate the support, brother. What'd you think of week 1?
Well, I mean, during this week one, I was mostly like everybody else. I was wanting to see that defense, and I wanted to see what the secondary do. And I feel like they did step it up. There was some slips here and there, but nothing big, nothing for me to be concerned about. And the questions we had on the D lines with the replacements, I don't think they skipped a beat. They kept the pressure on all day long. My only concern came in the second half when they kept running over that left side. Um, I kind of grown concerned, but then when we talked about it last night after the after game show, um, it was pointed out to me, and I went back and looked at the film, and it's right. It was it's where the second string came in or third string came in, and it showed a little weakness, but I think they'll pick it up. And the only other one was where our O line was standing up a few times, and Tom and I were talking about that earlier in the chat. But that was mostly in the first half. I think they got that settled out during halftime because I don't think I seen it maybe once in the second half at all. I think they got back down to business and got back to fundamentals, and that made me happy as hell.
Let me get you up on some super chats here. VFL Willie for $2. Appreciate that. Why not so much Thornton? I've got the snap counts here. Let me roll down here. Dante Thornton, 44 snaps. So I don't think it's really snaps as much as targets, right? Ramel Keaton, 73 snaps. Brew McCoy, 58 snaps. Dante Thornton, 44. Squirrel White, 39. And then it's Chaz Nimrod with 22. Caleb Webb with 10. Jack Jancic. Shout out Jack Jancic. Spring game MVP a couple of years ago. He had 5. Dayton Sneed 2. Michael Bittner 2. I just think it's, somebody in the chat was wanting Coach Shea to talk about the play calling and it being very vanilla, but that's what you expect going in, right? You expected it to be vanilla, and I think Coach said it a little bit earlier. You're not really going to show what you've got in Dante Thornton. You took a deep shot to him. You throw it a little bit more to the left. Maybe 6-8 inches to the left. That's a touchdown. What are your thoughts on Thornton and play calling, Coach?
I just thought it was. I thought you saw 8 plays out of the offense, essentially, right? With a couple of route trees, maybe out of 3 of those offensive play calls. So basically a couple of variables off 8 different plays, and 4 of those plays were probably running plays, maybe 9. I was trying to count them earlier, and then I got a little distracted on the rewatch. But it was just super vanilla, and you want it to be vanilla. You wanted to see Joe taking those easy little bubble screens out to the edges. The deep ball was there all day. The tight end over the middle was there all day. Thornton was even open all day. You saw how easily we were able to hit him when we wanted to. And during the first half, I was kind of irritated that they weren't just getting it out to Brew on the edge and letting him run over people, but they kind of decided to go to that in the second half and take some easy yards that the defense was giving them. But I just thought it was standard. We said before the game, hey, we want to see vanilla. It's easy to say we want to see vanilla, and then when the game comes around and you're excited and it's vanilla, you're like, come on, open the damn playbook.
Yep.
I want to see this offense hum.
Yep.
I know this offense can hum.
Well, me, Coach Jay, what I thought was when they was playing vanilla, it was more or less them trying to work out the kinks and getting everything, back into sequence in the play. That this was like the first time they played somebody of a different color. Let's make sure that what we've got on our books and our fundamentals are hitting the game against another opponent, not just ourselves. That we can see what our coverage is. Let's see if we can change it for them. I think that's all it was, and it's probably going to be the same for the Austin P. Now, they might throw in a couple here and there just to get a little practice on them, but it really hit when we hit Florida.
Yep.
Florida has not shown us anything this year yet.
Well, and they may just show something different to give Florida something to, they have to look at in practice. Some different type of run scheme or something to where it just makes Florida have to do more film work. Not much. I mean, I think, like you said, we'll be still very vanilla, but adding a couple more schemes here and there. Because Coach Heupel's got everything up his sleeve. He could roll out anything, but just a couple things to get Florida something to think about. So that's what I think they'll do against Austin
They
Peay.
never rolled back to that 5 receiver look. They did it on the second or third play of the first quarter. I couldn't believe it. They lined up with wide receivers, 5 of them, and that was
I saw that.
That was something. I think they would do that. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
I think what
coming.
Who's the
well you have on your backfield, we got cream of the creme, creme de la creme of running back room. They said they're going to split it 40-40-20. Now I think during the Austin Peay, they're going to switch them 240s around, and they're going to change positions. Who's going to be the starter between those two? I think they're going to do that just to show everybody else, hey, we don't have to rely on this rotation. They may even take, one of them and bring in the freshman to get some play time during Austin Peay. I think they're going to do that earlier in the game than they did this last week.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
You
they're going to try to
definitely
do that.
see lots of Cam Selton.
You think so? You think you're going to see more? You got 4th and 1 from your own 29, and Heupel decides to go for it, and you got Jabari Small in there. You had a couple of 3rd and shorts. That you had another 4th and short later in the game, and I can't remember if it was. I think it was Small again. I just wonder if Cam Selton's going to be that short yardage back that we want, or if he's just going to go with whoever is in the game.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think they're going to try to keep him as that, but I think they're going to try to get Cam Selton in there because he's going to be one of our backs of the future. So you need to get him practice, and this is the kind of game you want to go into and get him those reps. Get him those reps at Austin Peay, maybe at UTSA, maybe get a little few reps there. Maybe if we get a good lead on A&M, get some right there. We got a new incoming, new SEC team. Let's put them to work.
UTSA looked atrocious, by the way. They didn't.
Thank
I don't
you,
know
Jay.
if anyone
Thank you,
caught
Coach.
that.
Thank you, Coach.
And I'm a big believer. Their quarterback has been good for 4 years, and I don't know what the hell happened to him because they looked. I think he threw something like 7 picks.
Yeah,
something
it was
absurd
awful.
Like that against Houston. It was wild, man. It was garbage. That's all I gotta say.
Let me catch up on
Garbage.
Super Chats real quick. Volunteered 77 for $10. Appreciate that, brother. Late Dorothy. I think we look good with a few first game mistakes. Feel better now than before. Yeah, it's of course, there's always things to clean up. There's always things to discuss. It's all good. Appreciate the $10 Super Chat, brother. Wayne is in the house. What's up, Wayne? The defensive team speed was much improved from last year. Pressure by front 4. Need O to come out fast versus Austin Peay to rest for Florida. Go Vols. Yeah, I want to see, which, we kind of say that. Nico was in what? It was early 4th quarter when Nico got in there.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was pretty early. Seth Justice for 5. What's up, Seth? Appreciate the super chat, buddy. D busted their ass. I love it. People saying we beat the worst team in the SEC, but at least we scheduled a P5 game in week 1, unlike almost everyone else. I agree with that. We knew Virginia is gonna. They may not win a game in the SEC or the ACC this year, but still, you went out and did what you were supposed to do against a terrible ACC team, right? You took care of business. Let's talk about Joe Milton. We got 162 people watching. Is everybody watching this LSU game? You can multitask. Put LSU on your TV, Talkin VAWLS on your phone, and let's roll with it, guys. Smash a thumbs up, share out the link, all that good stuff. Let's talk about Joe Milton. Sunshine Ball putting you on blast again. What did you think about Joe in week 1 against Virginia?
I think he looked semi-accurate. I mean,
hold on a second.
I mean, at times he didn't.
Did you watch my day after video? Did you watch my day after video?
I did, actually. I did.
Okay. So you heard what the NCAA record is for completion percentage.
I did.
So Joe Milton is right up there at the top for a complete. So what are we talking about here, Sunshine Ball? Are we talking about Joe Milton against?
I'm talking about that one drive where he missed 3 in a row.
Three incomplete passes. You're worried about accuracy. Let's talk about the whole game. Let's talk about the whole game and 70% completion percentage. It is battered Vol syndrome made over, man. It's battered Vol syndrome. People see one inaccurate pass. and they go back 2 years ago and they talk about Bowling Green. It's like, I don't care about Bowling Green. So let's dial it in, Sunshine Ball.
As far as the whole game goes, I believe if Keaton would have caught that deep ball, it would have been a different game and we would have scored 65 points.
I agree with that.
Are we blaming Joe or are we blaming Ramel Keaton for that?
Oh, that drops on Keaton.
That drop is all on him.
That was all Keaton.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was all
That's
Keaton.
Ramel.
I mean, that's my whole point. Is 70%.
It hit him right in the breadbasket.
If Ramel
Yeah,
catches
I mean,
that,
I remember
that's
a
what.
tweet-
That's not a
Yeah,
touchdown because he
2015.
got tackled immediately, but that's like what 50, 60, 70 yards.
Yeah.
6 inches to the left, and Dante Thornton's hauling in a touchdown. It's a different story coming out of this game, and you're talking about a matter of inches on one play and a wide receiver dropping a pass on another.
Oh, that deep ball that he threw was at the 15, and they talked about on the game. I mean, on the the game, it went all the way to the opposite 20.
Yeah, he hucked it. Yeah,
And it was accurate. It was accurate.
Yeah,
really
it was
dropped in the breadbasket.
It was
Yeah.
effortless.
Yeah,
See, that's why
Piss missile.
I understand they have to have stats for the quarterback, and then they track how many receptions or drops they have by the receivers, but there's nothing that equates to 2. It doesn't say hey, Joe really did play a good game, which he did. He played an amazing game and had these small things, like Ramel not catching the ball or Dante, not getting it exactly right for Dante, or if Dante had shifted more in his route, those are difference makers. But what really hurt us, I think, it took the wind out of us for just a play or two, was when we fumbled on a punt return. There's no reason for that.
Yeah.
There was, you've got to protect that ball. And if we do that with Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Texas A&M, we're done. Those are game changers.
That fumble really
point, Bob.
switched our.
You know what? Last year, my battered Vol syndrome kind of went away when I saw us fumble against Alabama, and they took the lead. And I said, you know what? Golly, this reminds me of so many football games. And they persevered. They did. And, I think they can probably do it. They can work through those little mistakes, and, they can produce, and they can get better.
Hashtag Pig Howard against Georgia.
Oh God, I was in the stadium for that game. Gosh, oh my gosh, I was in the stadium. You're talking about a kid that's
Never
laying
has
out.
there been a guy who tried to win a football game more.
Yes.
Oh my
He
God.
gave his all on that play, and
He
oh my
tried to
gosh.
win it so hard.
So bad.
That's making me want to throw up. Coach, you were going to say something about the fumble. What were you going to say? About
Just
that
that it put us in a little bit of a field position hole when the offense got out of rhythm right there. Sometimes something that simple can really throw you off. Usually our offense has been good at pushing their way past it, so we've kind of been spoiled in that way. And I think we all kind of look, guys. I agree with what everyone's been saying. I didn't necessarily like the game that our wide receivers played, even though it was vanilla. I didn't think they were their best selves. But man, damn it, look how dangerous we are on offense, because we were not clicking, and we still put up 49 in a heartbeat. So just feels like the dark times are moving further and further away.
Can we just talk
Look at how
about
they
that?
went back to running.
Go ahead.
Can I go
They
back
went
to
back to running the football. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a bad
Yeah, they
drive
can run.
and ran the football.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they started
go.
using that offensive line. Absolutely.
Well, going back to Joe for a minute, I mean, when he missed that throw, he missed like 3 in a row. I think it was 3 passes in a row.
Yeah, when he got out
But
of
then,
rhythm.
right. But then when he came back, he was back on track. It's
Yeah,
not like, it's not like Pitt where he had a few he missed and he just could not regain that composure and that maturity. That shows me how mature he has gotten and more comfortable with the game and playing at this level.
Agreed.
And how much of that is Heupel, right? Like Coach talking about the fumbled punt and in the field, putting yourself in a bad situation, going forward on 4th and 1 from your own 29 and getting stuffed. That puts your defense in a bad
confidence
situation.
in your players.
It is. And Heupel touched on that in the postgame. Yeah. He said, you know what? I'm sending a message to this football team that I have confidence in them across the board, and we have expectations. I expect them to convert that 4th down, but if they don't, I also have confidence in this defense. How many times did that coach? You're right. You can go next.
No. What I was about to say is I watched that play a couple times, and that play was there. McAllen Castle's freaking whip, like whip hard. When you watch that play over again,
was he in the backfield? Was he in the backfield for that?
He was like in a wing, almost like a tightened wing.
Yeah,
and he went down to get to the safety when he had the edge. And the edge popped through and collapsed that side. So that was on Castles. But for the most part, I thought McCastles played a good game.
I thought he looked
with
really
the exception
good.
of that play.
Really
I thought him and Warren both blocked their ass off. Both of them. Just really. I was wondering how our tight ends would block without Fant. And gosh, if we got our answer in that game, then we're
yes, we did.
Place.
Yeah.
I love watching a replay. And if you guys, I know like it's my job, right, to rewatch a game. Coach Jay, I make him do it. He doesn't have a choice. Just like he can't drink anything but beer on game day, he has to rewatch the game and be ready to go to work. But as a fan, you should rewatch a game because when you watch it live, a lot of times I'm watching the line of scrimmage or watching the ball. Mostly, I watch the offensive and defensive line, and then I follow the ball. But when you rewatch a game, you know what's coming. So, like on my rewatch, I was watching a lot of the Tennessee linebackers. I was watching a lot of the secondary. I was watching a lot of the wide receivers on run plays because Coach is in here talking about the way Jacob Warren blocked or the way Brew McCoy blocked. You don't have to really follow the storyline of the game. Rewatching a game, you can really educate yourself on what this football team really is. We got a couple of other listeners here in the back. We got Lucas in the house. We got Seth in the house. What's up, boys? Welcome to the show. Seth, what'd you think? What'd you think of week 1 for Josh Heupel and this football team?
Chatting.
Seth, you're on me. Did I say something to offend Seth? Did I say something that was that offensive?
How dare you?
I don't think so.
I'm out.
I don't think so.
I'm out. He's like, you and your stupid. It was the App State hat. He's like, you wearing an App State hat. I'm out. I'm
out of here.
Can I point one more thing out about Joe Milton? Everybody is talking about how he doesn't get out of the pocket much. He's not much on his feet. But I remember seeing him going down the left side and stiff arming and knocking the guy over like, hey, get out of my way, please. And just kept on going. Got him another 4 or 5 yards at stiff arm. I mean, that needs to tell somebody, don't underestimate this offense. Don't underestimate our defense. We are not who we were last year.
I thought he had great pocket awareness. I thought he went through his reads and he escaped when he needed to escape. I thought he looked quick. One of the plays I was watching I think it was the second quarter, like a 17-yard scramble. He looked quick. I was very pleased with Joe's pocket awareness and running.
Very decisive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about the TikTok video that's going around like crazy? The John Campbell block where he took the dude blindside to the wall. Can we just talk about that?
I would show it. I'm afraid I'm going to get copyright struck if I show it, but it was hilarious.
That was crazy.
Oh yeah, I thought he was going to take him. He's taking him in the locker room.
Yeah, I thought he was. I literally saw that live. I was like, dang.
Yeah, I think we're all feeling a little better after losing our left tackle to the NFL after that game 1. I think we're all breathing a little bit easier. And like I said, I really do. I thought Carrick played a good game, guys. I thought he was turning his defensive tackle on that first drive specifically. He was whooping them pretty handily. It was just JJ Crawford on the other side that was a little suspect at times, and I thought Mincy outplayed him in the small amount of time he played, but apparently he's had some issues, right? So,
and this is all without Cooper. So I mean, just wait till we get Cooper back at center.
You got to praise Ollie Lane too, right?
He did.
Ollie Lane played a good football game.
Yeah,
he did.
I didn't notice a single bad snap. Did anybody?
No bad snaps. That was the one thing
just
I was looking for.
Yeah, the false
Virginia
start
had
wasn't
some
really
good
on
look.
him. So, yeah.
And Dane
It was
Davis
even-
didn't look bad at center either.
No.
When he got a few reps there.
Well, like
They was
penalties,
even able to pick up the blitz.
you talked about, you mentioned Ollie
That's the
Lane
point,
and
yeah.
penalties. I think Dauber brought it up in the post-game show, and I don't think we really harped on it enough. This team was penalized heavily last year. Saturday, 4 penalties, 35 yards. That's a good day for a team that goes fast and scores 50 points. That's a good day. That's a
They could've
disciplined
had
football
none.
team.
Very
They
disciplined.
could have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those mental errors will go away. They will, but they could have had none.
Yeah.
With a backup center, that's crazy good.
Yeah.
And one thing I'd say, the tempo, like Ollie did a great job keeping the tempo at the pace that
It was
Josh
fast.
Harper wants
Yeah.
the tempo to be.
Yeah. Now, one thing I will say is,
yeah,
I thought the one thing our defense, if I was kind of picking on one thing I felt like they didn't do well, I didn't think they responded very well to the 2-minute offense, to the hurry up offense. When Virginia did go quick, the one time they went quick, we looked a little discombobulated and lost. So I don't know if that's kind of just, Virginia never does it, so it kind of caught us off guard for that series, or if it's going to be a continued problem. But you would think that we're prepared for it as fast as we can practice against it.
I think it's more. I think it was more getting the play or getting the defensive play out to the defensive linemen and the rest of our squad. I think it's they were looking for what's his name, or just looking for the play from the sideline. And they weren't getting it as quick as they wanted to, so they couldn't get into the coverage they wanted. I think it was more of that than anything.
Yeah.
Like Coach said, you
they
would
had
think
a
that
little
this
bit of-
football team is prepared to go against up tempo, right? So maybe they just didn't expect it. Got a $5 super chat from Dan Yoder. Appreciate that, brother. Beasley was beastly. Still felt really good about our linebackers. Like I said, I'm halfway through the rewatch. I rewatched the first half. Man, it really stuck out to me. And again, I'm focusing on the linebackers in the rewatch. But Aaron Beasley, Keenan Peely, Elijah Herring, all three really good. I'll see what Arian Carter gives me in the second half. Didn't see a whole lot of him in the first half. Man, how much better is this defense when the front seven is good? Again, like what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the secondary? We're not talking about it.
They give the back whatever you call it 4 or 5 a breather. I mean, they don't have to cover as long.
Yeah, true.
They can play more aggressive. That's one thing I'll say. It frees up the DBs to play more aggressive, knowing that the defensive line and our front seven altogether are getting to the quarterback quicker. I mean, Musket didn't have any time. I mean, they were talking about it all night. You got 2.8 seconds to get the ball off average time. Well, I could go ahead and tell you several of those times they didn't have that long. So it just frees up our DBs to play more man press and, be attacking the, read the route quicker and be able to make a tackle and make a play on the ball. And so I thought it really frees us up.
Well, from what I could see, the safeties were staying in coverage. They weren't getting lost in the coverage. They were staying with their patterns. I didn't see anybody losing their man. I don't think they had anybody actually broke free, and that's what caused the sacks that we had. I just, like you said, he just didn't have time. We kept the pressure up front, and I think the safeties just done their job.
It's way easier to cover for 3 seconds than it is 7 seconds. Right? A stat that I like that I don't think I caught live. I think I saw it on VolQuest. All 4 sacks came on third down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rabbit package.
Third down.
That rabbit package is deadly.
They
are nasty. Yeah.
James Pierce looked dangerous, man. He was on a mission.
How about I'm excited about James Pierce. How about freaking Tyler Barron, right? A guy going into his senior year that's kind of underperformed, a guy that was rumored to be entering the portal last year, and now he comes in game one senior year and 2 sacks. Not just 2 sacks, man. He was living in the backfield. But the defensive line was in the backfield all night long. Like they were playing in the backfield the entire night. Like they got to push up front all night long.
Both of Barron's sacks came on twists, like games where it was third down. He's on the inside. He's playing the 5 technique, and he's coming around. And where I think it was Pierce went inside and Barron went around, and Musket tried to roll out and caught him from behind.
Seth dropped a $5 super chat, and then he said right after, he didn't put anything in the super chat, but said, tried hard to get in the show. My phone is giving me all kinds of connectivity issues. Going to watch LSU get beat. Love the show, GBO. Thank you, Seth, for the $5. I'm disappointed in Vol Nation tonight. It's a fan call-in show. We got football to talk about. There's 125 people watching because LSU and Florida State are playing. I knew it was going to be a problem tonight. I knew it was going to be a problem. And that's fine. I just wish people would multitask. Watch the game. I've got the game up right now. You can watch both.
I've got it up. I sat there. I thought LSU was getting ready to go down and score.
They were. They didn't.
LSU's
they didn't take their points.
They keep piddly footing around. Yeah, they really
line
are.
up and play football.
What was the line on this? Was FSU favored? Or?
No, LSU was.
LSU was favored.
LSU,
oh wow, was 5.
LSU.
But look at that. They lined up inside the 5-yard line and didn't line up with a fullback under center one time. Not one time. And you know what? Lose. They're going to lose that game because they're not running the football.
What do you guys believe? What do you guys think of that? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay. We don't have.
I was just going to say, what do you guys think of that big package when we put West in the back?
I love the 600-pound package.
Yeah, I love that.
Closer to 700 pounds.
Yeah. Refrigerator.
Yeah. I was going to say the fridge.
Yeah, I can't wait till they actually
refrigerator package.
Hand it off to him once.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Will they do anything
Yeah.
creative out of it versus just pushing a quarterback sneak? Like, will they do something out of it?
Maybe. Could you imagine having Les go up like the fullback and then going on a little like 5 and out, just a little out route to him? That'd be beautiful. No one would cover him.
I could see
As
maybe
long as he goes through the sticks, though. Yeah.
We'll catch it.
The post game presser when they were talking to Joe about the little bootleg play they ran, and Ramel Keaton was wide open, and it's like, and they were asking him about being selfish. He's like, I'm not being selfish. I'm just gonna walk into the end zone. Like, you put the ball in the air, and it's like, I wonder if Ramel Keaton was like, bro, I'm wide open. And he's like, I saw what you did on that deep ball I threw. I'm gonna go ahead and walk this one in.
Well, every offensive coach will tell the quarterback just to run it on in.
Yes.
I mean, the chances of lights getting his eyes or whatever. But I mean, quarterback's just told to run that on in. I mean, too many things could go wrong.
Look at this guy, Dustin Sellers, the man with the worst internet in the country. What's up, brother? How you feeling, Dustin, after game 1 against Virginia? Oh, and he turns off his camera immediately.
Oh,
look at this guy. What are we doing, Dustin? What are we doing?
Let me get some ears going here. I can't hear nothing.
Ear moans.
Earmuffs, kids. Earmuffs.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We hear you, crystal.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
Let's watch Dustin struggle. Let's watch Dustin struggle.
Yep. There you go.
Can you hear us yet, Dustin?
Put me on blast, man. Just you wait.
The worst fan calling experience ever is Dustin. It's always a battle. Like one of my favorite people to talk to. It's always a battle.
He must have spectrum.
Yeah, there you go. Pit Boss for 2. Appreciate the super chat. Brother says tip jar. Yeah, GBO. There's only 132 people watching. I let everybody sneak in, but we appreciate those door fees, Pit Boss.
What do y'all think of the? What you guys think of the old North Carolina South Carolina game?
I was elated.
Yeah.
I like
South Carolina.
Y'all see what happened after the game?
In the ground.
What's even better, Shane Beamer cried about the chain crew.
It was funny. Fair play, Lucas. That was awesome.
I'm waiting for the chain crew.
Wait, let's take a look at what Shane Beamer had to say.
Happened.
There you go.
Let's take a listen. Let's crank
We
up
got
the
these.
audio.
Do you have any stats? Anybody?
Oh my goodness.
It's kind of the story of the night. Clock was wrong the whole game. We're trying to kick an onside kick to start the second half, and we got to wait on the chain crew because they're eating a hot dog. That's the only disappointing thing about tonight. So,
You know what the funniest thing about, I didn't watch that game because I got better things to do with my life than watch Butch Jones 2.0. But I saw that somebody said that they actually recovered that onside kick that he was complaining about. So
They
The
did.
kicker did.
Yeah, the
So-
kicker did. Yes.
what are you
yeah.
complaining about? Like, shut up. God, he's such
Because
a
they couldn't
dork.
convert it to any points.
He's such a
They
moron.
didn't convert. They did not convert that to any points.
What's funny, them going on 4th and 19.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let the record be clear.
Like,
Last
come
year,
on.
worried about South Carolina. This year, they're going to get the brakes beat off. They're going to get embarrassed.
Their
Josh
offensive
Heupel's
line
going
looked
to run
awful.
the score up. He is going
Oh,
to
we're gonna
run
get
the
'em.
score up against South Carolina.
Okay. Here's the thing I keep thinking in my head, and I could be wrong. Coach, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. This the new rule where the clock doesn't stop, on first down, that has no effect on University of Tennessee. It really doesn't. We play such a fast offense.
I actually think it helps us.
It really
Yeah.
does because it's taking time away from our opponent, not us, because we score fast enough and we play at a high enough tempo that it really doesn't affect us. We're used to snapping that ball in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
FSU
I
just
was
scored.
from the time I rewatched it, from the time whoever was on the ground, I skipped forward 10 seconds and they were snapping the ball.
Yeah. In theory, there could be a team that's got just a dominant big O line and dominant run game that could use that as a weapon against us and play keep away a bit. But it's just, they'd have to have the lead first to do it. And we just kind of jump out to leads so quickly and easily. I think that's what we were talking about the other day, Boogie, is Tennessee's prone to jumping out to these leads early in games. And when that happens, man, that clock can turn into an enemy quick, Bob. It really can for that other team.
I think it plays it, and I think that's what everybody's complaining about because they know when they have to face us, that's them that's going to be penalized with the clock.
Yep.
Let me hit a couple of super chats real quick. Evan counts for 5. F. Shane, your ace is grass Dorfy. That's a great Dorfy. Appreciate that, Evan. Thank you for the super chat. Gerard Burton for 10. Thank you for the super chat. Everyone is spazzing because Milton is at hooker. Hooker was our best quarterback since Manning. Milton doesn't need to be hooker. He just needs to be T. Martin. Let's go. Super excited. What do you guys think about that comparison? I've seen this a lot. I've seen a lot of people saying, you go back to 98. Peyton Manning to win a natty, just like Hendon Hooker, and then you fast forward. But really, Hendon Hooker, like we're talking 8-4, and they go out and win 11 games. But a lot of comparisons there with Milton and Hooker and T. Martin and Peyton Manning. What do you guys think?
Well, I don't think it's so much about the quarterbacks. I'm thinking about the team itself. I mean, I'm one of those that's old enough. I watch these games. I watch Manning his entire career. I mean, I started watching. Well, we won't age myself that much, but
come on, age yourself. How old are you? Age yourself.
I'm 59 years old. I've been watching Tennessee football as long as I can remember.
There you go.
I mean, I remember, Johnny Majors. I remember when Phil Fulmer took over for him. So I've been around a while.
Let me sidebar you, Bob. I gotta sidebar you real quick. Because as a kid, I'm 42. As a kid, I fell in love with Andy Kelly because he was the first Tennessee quarterback I could really remember. But sometimes the generation says that Andy Kelly wasn't that good. But for me, that's the dude that made me fall in love with Tennessee football. What'd you think of Andy Kelly?
Can I say something, Boogie?
No, you're too young, Lucas. Let Bob speak.
Dang.
I think for the time, Andy Kelly was the best quarterback that University of Tennessee had in quite some times, and he helped turn the program around as far as bringing in a throwing game. Before that, we were pounded on the ground all the time. That's where we stayed. Andy Kelly is the one, in my opinion, brought the passing game to Tennessee because he had those skills.
Andy Kelly lives 3 minutes down the road from me.
Oh, that's cool.
Get him on here.
There you go. Yeah,
yeah, man.
Grab him.
Bring him on.
You talk about not being able to conduct a show.
Go knock on his door.
That'd be worse than Peyton Manning coming on the show for me. Andy Kelly's the reason why I fell in love with Tennessee. But Bob, you were talking about T. Martin, Peyton Manning. I sidebarred you. You can go back.
What? Okay, here's the way I see it. When Peyton Manning was going up in '97 for the national title, our problem was our defense. We could score points. We just couldn't hold anybody from scoring points on us. What was last year?
Yeah.
It was our defense that held us back. Had we had, from what we've seen so far in just one game, if we'd had this defense last year, we might have even had a legitimate shot. That's why I am so hyped about this year. From what I saw, you compare game 1 to game 1 of the last year and this year, I think our defense has picked up at least 100%, if not 110.
I've seen a lot more saying that all off season that this defense was going to take a step. I don't know if I saw that on VolQuest or 247 or if I saw it right here on the Talkin VAWLS network. Somebody said this defense is going to be better this year.
I think it's a lot better this year so far.
Boogie, I gotta get off, man. I got a fantasy football draft I gotta get to. I'm sorry, man.
All right, brother. Appreciate you jumping on.
I appreciate you letting me get on, man.
Hope you'll be a part of them moving forward. Man.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
Sunday night, every week on Saturday.
Without a doubt. Appreciate it, man.
All right, buddy. Have a good night.
Hey, Tom, let's go elk hunting.
Let's get Matthew. Where you been, brother? You bought a player on NCAA night. He was a stud running back, and now you disappeared. Now you're back. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Long time no see.
Yeah, doing good. First time joining the call-in show here. Almost had a wedding to go to, but I've been wanting to jump on for the show here for a long time, and finally said, you know what, tonight's the night. So
I love it. I love it. Somebody said during the tailgate show, I'm a little scared. I'm a little nervous, dude. We're a bunch of clowns. We're all like-minded. What'd you think, Matthew, coming out of week 1? What'd you like about Tennessee? Any concerns out of week 1?
No, not really. I thought it was. I thought it was good. I mean, everyone's pretty much mentioned anything I could possibly say, you know. But yeah, I thought it was good. I think it's not a time to overreact or underreact to anything, you know. You know, it is what it is. Joe looked good. The defense looked as good as they've talked about. Yeah, you have mistakes here. You know, you don't want to see D. Williams fumble a return on a punt. But things are going to happen. Thank God it didn't happen. You know, in a game that it really would have mattered. You know, I look back to last year. I keep thinking of last year, and I think, you know, what if you lost? What if you lost in overtime to Pitt? What would we be saying? You know, you wouldn't be so cocky now, would you? You know what I mean? So
Not at all.
I think, you know, you got to see how it shakes out. There's a lot of good teams out there. We play every year. We play a lot of good teams. So it's how everything ends up, really. You know, I mean, you know, one incomplete pass, one fumble, one whatever could have made a big difference last year, and it could make a big difference this year. So
yeah, definitely. I think we'd all agree it was sloppy at times on offense, and I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. We kind of had that second quarter lull for a while, so hopefully they can kind of fix that and get that under wraps. The one thing that I noticed, and I think VolQuest commented on it too, was that I think it was Jalen McCullough that was back there like the whole game, and the conversation was brought up that, you know, why aren't we rotating a little bit more in the safeties as we are on the corners and stuff? But overall, I mean, I drew a lot of parallels to the Pitt game last year. You know, we didn't look super great. You know, and even Hendon, I don't think had a super great game, and you know, until the end. So, just some careless things. I mean, D. Williams was absolutely flying when he got hit and lost the ball. But from what I watched and what I saw, I think it was par for the course.
D. Williams also has to learn how to get past the punter.
No, it's like you think he's going to house it. He's like, I'm just going to pin myself to the sideline right here. Like, but don't discredit
Yeah.
D. Williams, man. The way, and Heupel was talking about it on the Josh Heupel show this morning, how he sets people up. Like the first big return he had that was like 54 yards, he talked about what they did on the line of scrimmage to set that up. And then on the second one, he's like, we really didn't have any success at the line of scrimmage. That's just D. Williams setting guys up to hit lanes and how special he is. Some guys are just, Evan Berry, a guy that would set people up on kickoff returns every time he touched the ball. Coach, I can tell you're ready to
I was just
speak.
mad because I said he was going to get a touchdown in the tailgate show.
Yeah, I did, and I did too, Sunshine.
I thought he was
he
going.
does- Yeah, he reads lanes. Just his vision, it to me is what makes him a special punt returner or kickoff returner. Is just his vision. He seems to be happy with only making that one hard cut and then getting north and finding that true lane. So I love D. Williams. He's a weapon, no matter how you slice it.
Here's a $5 super chat from Culberson, 44 for 5. Are there any injury updates, or did we make it out okay? Had a couple go down late. I think Squirrel's fine. He jogged off the field. I think I saw that. I've heard Omari Thomas is fine too. I've not seen any official updates, but I've heard that Omari Thomas was back out on the field and looked fine as well. So I think they're going to be okay. I think they came out of this game relatively clean. Watching the replay, holy smokes, everybody was getting lit up by that turf. Like Virginia, there was a punt, man. Some dude's just walking by the ball, like not trying to do anything. Knee gets buckled and bent backwards. That turf, and they were talking about it on the broadcast, how it's innovative and new, and it's like it's garbage, man. It's garbage.
Yeah, it's not rubber underneath. It's not even rubber underneath. It's what do they say? Coconut husks.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many games do you think the Titans make it before their quarterback's leg explodes from the coconut turf?
I've seen a lot of Titans fans.
Don't say that,
too,
Coach Jay.
injuries that they've
Yeah,
had.
sorry.
Calm down.
They already had the worst grass
Yeah.
in the whole NFL.
We've
Can't get much better.
Yeah, we've led the league in injuries the past 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Okay, now my only concern about special teams was, or it's a personal concern of mine. Our punter can boom it, but what is this running sideways before he kicks it? What is that about, Coach?
It's to hold the return team in place.
Yeah, he's doing too much.
You're holding them in place. It works. He's just not kicking. I think they want a direct kick. They want to kick the ball out of bounds, avoid the return game. He struggled. Did you guys see Josh Heupel's quote on it? He defended Jackson Ross, which I kind of like. He said, imagine being a dude from a foreign country that's never played the game before. This is your first time on the big stage. He's like, this is not who Jackson Ross is. Don't define him on one game, but I think it's fair to be concerned. Coach, you were going to speak. What do you got?
Yeah, you are right. It is to hold them into place, but I certainly think they're building a little bit of trickeration off of that setup too. The way that they're running it, in particularly when they move to the left, as opposed to the right side, you can really see the way the up backs are kind of pinning and setting gaps. I'd bet dollars to donuts they've got a nice little fake they're building off of it, and hopefully we see that at some point here.
The more important question is, what is Matthew drinking?
Is he playing like
No,
the wine
that's
glasses?
ice
You know, the
going
little
into a glass, and there's about to be something good poured on top of it.
Clink,
And I don't
clink.
even know what's being poured on top of it. So
There
that's
you go.
I know better. What do we got here?
Basil
Hey,
Hayden.
some bourbon.
All right.
I know it's from Kentucky, but hey,
Well, show us the
We
pour.
are their
Let's see
daddy.
the pour. Let's do the whole thing. Let's see what we're working
see
with
the
here.
whole. Oh boy,
cocktail hour.
That's what happens when you start throwing ice into
Here
a
at the
glass.
Talkin VAWLS Network.
I get geared up for it.
There we go. Making me thirsty.
No, that was a weak pour. You probably need to pour
Bottle
something
kill.
on top of it.
It already killed it.
Yeah, you better have a second bottle back
All
there
right,
somewhere,
all right.
brother.
it's just enough. I don't need to get crazier.
The other half was yesterday at the game.
Look at this
Yeah,
guy back
there you
here.
go.
Look at this guy's background.
You got that right. That guy's got the
liquor-
bourbon.
Looks like a liquor store.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay.
We got a
Coach,
drinking
may
problem here on the Talkin VAWLS Network.
What can I say?
Coach Jay, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Lucas.
How do you think the D line will perform against a pretty SEC offensive line.
Well, it depends on what. I think for the most part, you're going to see them improved against everyone. I do believe that. I think they're good. I think they have a lot of speed, size, and technique, and I think they've got a good blend of it too. Whether it be Omari or even Elijah Herring when he comes, or not Herring, sorry, Simmons.
Pierce.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, Simmons.
We throw 14 names at
Yeah,
you.
yeah. See, but that's the point. You could throw West out there, Eason. You could start throwing even Hobbs. Man, Hobbs is going to be a beast. I know he ran into a couple technique issues in his time out there this past week, but he was fast. He had good feet, and he was moving people. He just got caught out of position a couple times. Yeah, against the Gators, I think we could really feast in that game along the defensive line. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think we'll get, Florida's best game like we always do. But I think that defensive line could be a big, big key to winning that game. And, hey, let's pin our ears back and get Mertz out of there early and put a licking on him. That's what I say.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Pierce surprised the dickens out of me. I didn't see that coming out of him. He got 2 sacks last night. So, he did an outstanding job.
Yeah. Yeah, he beat his man to the inside and the outside. 2 different moves. And he looked fast and he looked strong. He's a lanky guy, but he's a strong guy. So he's going to be a problem along that end. And when you pair him next to Barron or Lott with Joseph's on that other side, that gets scary, especially if you're bringing Beasley or Peely off the edge too.
I'm going to hop off here.
I want to see him do it against Florida. And we saw Florida's offensive line struggle against Utah. I think we talked about it yesterday. What they give up, 4 or 5 sacks. Tennessee needs to get after the quarterback against Florida. That'll give me confidence, man. I'm starting to lean that Tennessee. I know I've been concerned about that Florida game. I think they're going to beat Florida in the Swamp. They're favored by a touchdown for a reason. This defense. And Bob kind of talked about it earlier, talking about this defense. If this defense is as good as they looked against Virginia, and Virginia's offense sucks, I get it. But if they are good, if they are legit, Joe just has to be efficient, man. Yeah. He doesn't have to do anything. Run the football. Joe, be efficient. Go play good defense. And you might find yourself in Atlanta. Am I crazy? For saying
I agree with you. And I was just about to say – sorry, boss. I was just about to say that, that was answered pretty quickly. That was one of my questions. How willing was Joe going to be to run the ball when he had the opportunity? It looked like he didn't hesitate much. Looked like the decision-making overall was pretty good. And then, back to the defense, I think it's a culmination of having that depth finally. And, the guys that have been in the system, 2 or maybe even 3 seasons now, it's finally maybe clicking a little bit more, plus whatever Rodney Garner is trying to do up front.
Well, what I would say about the offensive line, I think I'm going along with what I've heard Bogey say multiple times is, we'd really like to see Cooper Mays come back before the Florida game. But I'll tell you what, after what I saw yesterday, I think our new offensive line can still hold up against Florida, GTSA, and maybe even Texas A&M if need be. I'm not as concerned as I was 2 weeks ago or even 5 days ago. I think they filled that spot sufficiently for now. I would really like them to get more reps. And I think they're going to get better with the more reps they have. If they have a lot of reps coming up, next week, or if they do have to play Florida, those extra reps is going to help that O-line get better. And I'm not taking away anything from Cooper Mays. He's, all SEC, but we'd like to have him back, but I'd rather have him back healthy than to rush his recovery and we end up losing him later on the line when we need him at Alabama or Georgia.
Yeah, and it's nice to build the guard depth anyways, right? Mm-hmm. We're so worried about that position once you get past the top 2 guys, but now it looks like with Carrick playing the way he did, we're going to have someone who can step in if Sprague needs a blow or if Ollie needs a blow or vice versa.
Look, I just sent out the link to everybody that is a member of the channel, whether it's 99 cents or whether you give $35 a month. everybody has the link. So I'm going to rotate some guys out so we can add some people. Dylan,
Yeah, I'm
going to
hop off here, Boogie.
All right, go ahead and jump off.
Later, Luke.
Lucas, Dylan,
See
I know
you guys.
you've been on for a while.
See you, man.
Tom, you've been on for a while. Bob, you've been on for a while. If you
Yep.
guys will bounce, and then we will get some more people on here. It's been a good time. We're going to do it every week, every Sunday at 7.
All right, brother.
Come back.
Appreciate
Later,
you guys
dudes.
See you
coming
next
on.
week. Bye, guys.
Love your show, brother.
Appreciate it, man.
Hey.
Go ahead. Who was talking? Was Dustin talking? Who was talking?
Not it.
No, man.
Have you
Kids
guys?
in there. Look
can,
at
though.
look how fresh this kid looks. Like Elijah comes on the show and we all look ugly. Look at this guy. Got the beard, got the mullet,
orange
got
beard.
got the 1980s Tennessee hat. You
Yeah.
just look like a country star, kid. I don't know why you don't have a multi-million-dollar record. What would you do? Would you be Oliver Anthony? Would you tell him no or be like, no, I'm taking that money, bro?
Take that money.
I'm taking that money. I'm taking that money too. You offer me $8 million, I'm taking it. I'm taking it.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Telling right out.
And I'm disappearing for about 10 years.
Yeah, like just do it for a year, right? Like just take the money for a year and then disappear. Why not?
Yeah.
You talking about a record deal?
Yeah.
You got to pay that back, bro.
Just drop the bag and then I'll disappear. Like if ESPN came and knocked on my door tomorrow and said, Boogie, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know, that Coach J guy, he's okay, but he doesn't have the energy that you have. So we need you to come on and break down film. I'd be like, I'll fake it. Give me the $8 million and then I'll just disappear. And then I'll hand over the keys to the Talkin VAWLS network to Coach J. I'll be like, you can have the show. You do what you want to do.
Cool.
They don't sign anybody no more. Like, you know, unless you, the thing is, they don't really sign anybody until you don't really need a label. You know, if you're established enough where you got a fan base and you can tour on your own, you know, you're not getting discovered the way where you used to. So
Social media based and everything else, and to the point where at this point, getting a record deal, they take all your money, take all your revenue, take all your royalties. So, I mean, you know, if it happens, it happens. I get to play music on occasion and make some money at it.
There you go.
Like, I don't care about being famous. It's overrated.
Same.
It's like that's why Oliver Anthony was so cool, right? Because he blew up, and then everybody wants a piece of the pie. And he's like, nope, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Because at that point, you don't.
I was in the day off that song.
Yeah, like he's fine. And even I don't even think that dude really doesn't seem to me like he cares about money. Like he really doesn't. Really doesn't. All right, let me catch up here. Austin Murray becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you for the support. Cody Copeland for 5. Dorfy. I think Joe just pushed those throws on one bad drive, but he calmed down and settled into the game afterwards. Great time to be evolved. Thank you, Cody. Let me throw this question at you guys. This is something I'm going to ask Eric Kane bright and early at 9 a.m. on the morning show. Elijah, what do you want to see this team improve on from week 1 to week 2? Going into Austin Peay, it's a glorified scrimmage, but what do you want to see them get better at? Why is he muted? He's unmuted, but he's muted.
I don't know. Your volume went bye-bye. Oh.
Yeah, we got you now.
1 second. Sorry.
Hold for vectoring.
Okay.
I'm about to throw up. Yeah. Oh,
yeah. There you go.
Now. Yeah, you're way better now.
Yeah. Sorry, my AirPods are messing up.
You're good.
But special teams was the biggest thing for me from Saturday. I think that's one of those things that you don't really get to practice much in fall camp. Is, you know, special teams reps are hard reps to come by unless you're playing games every week. But I think they'll clean up as the season goes. I'd like to see the receivers, especially not to rip on the guy because I'm sure he's beat himself up enough. But I'd like to see Ramel Keaton, you know, not have any drops. And I felt like Joe was a lot of touch on the ball. Looked like he was accurate, you know, fairly accurate to the point where receivers on scholarship should be catching the ball. But I was super impressed with the defense. I think that we're going to have a lot better of the year defensively. The front 7 looks nasty, and I think we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
But all in all, special teams is the biggest thing I'd like to see improve next week.
Yeah.
Daniel, what do you think, buddy? You just jumped on the show with us. What do you think about week 1? What do you see want to see them improve on going into week 2?
Joe Milton, he had a rough start, but then he recovered real nicely. I mean, works improve on his touch. I think he'll do a lot better as the season will go on. And yes, I kind of agree. If
if Hendon Hooker was Peyton Manning, I think Joe Milton's going to be T. Martin. And look, if you had to ask me today, you're looking at 50-50 with Bama, 50-50 with Georgia, 10-2, maybe go undefeated and see them in the CFP title game.
like it.
I'll take it. There's a lot of 50-50s, which I guess we're kind of used to now. And I said it last year, and I'll say it again this year too. I just hope if we do sneak one by Bama, Georgia, that we don't drop one to Kentucky or Missouri or something crazy like that. I think that's going to be a big point of emphasis for me, is that, like, as a team, as a program, how do we prevent those things? Because talent-wise, other than Georgia and Bama, I think we're right there with, if not better than most teams in the conference. But going back to yesterday, I agree with Elijah. Like, special teams is probably number one. Tighten up some things there. Just chemistry between the quarterback and the receivers. I think tighten up that a little bit. And then, like I said before, it's like, see what happens rotating those safeties a little bit more, because I think those first two levels are pretty solid. But I'd like to see if anybody can, especially in a game like Austin Peay, if they can work in a few more guys at safety and see what happens.
Yeah, it's interesting when you said that earlier. I went and looked because I've got it pulled up, the snap counts. Jalen McCullough played 44 plays, and then Wesley Walker beside him played 45 plays. So those guys played the majority. And then Andre
How many did Turrentine?
He
He played good.
He played 20.
He played good when he was in there.
And then the other safety was Will Brooks that played 20 snaps. That kind of blew my mind, man. Like, that was it. That was interesting. So yeah, I'm with Dustin on that. They've talked about rotating the corners, the linebackers, the defensive line, but at safety, it's freaking Tank McCullough or die, right? They just seem to ride or die with him. And I didn't really think he played bad, honestly. I didn't think he played horrible. I thought he played pretty good. He made some plays in the backfield. He struggles in cover. He doesn't have the SEC speed. I think that's what he's missing. I think he has the football IQ. I think he tackles well. I just don't think he has the SEC speed. I think that's what hurts him, and why we as Tennessee fans have been talking about him for 5 years.
Boo Carter be here in a minute, Boogie.
That is going to fix
in a minute.
That's But he's turning the entire fan base is saying, give this guy the football on offense, because every week we see him doing crazy stuff in the highlight reels coming out of his high school games.
Yeah, I think we'll see him some on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Do you really truly believe they'll play him two ways?
Maybe early in his career, yeah. And if he doesn't absolutely crush it, they'll just keep him on one side.
He's so dynamic, man. Like, it was so funny. Like, it might be my favorite film breakdown we ever did, because you guys know me. I'm lazy. I don't do the work. I let Coach Jay do it all. And then we pop in, and I'm kind of just along for the ride. And it's like, dang, I want him to play running back. Oh, no, wait, I changed my mind. I want him to play receiver. Nope, I want him to play in the secondary, because he's that talented, man. He is that special of a kid.
I like Cam.
Yeah. Cam Seldon's a stud too, man. Just absolute stud.
I want to see him next week for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what I want. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Sunshine.
Coach.
No,
I was just going to ask what he wants to see next week. That's kind of the theme right now. What do you guys want to see against Austin Peay? It's a glorified scrimmage, but what do you want to see?
I mean, open up the playbook a little bit more. I kind of doubt that'll happen, but I'd like to see it.
No.
I'd like to see more of the option game. I would really like seeing that in the first game. I think that could definitely be deadly with our three fantastic running backs. And Joe just running through a guy, I mean, that'd be great.
Speaking of that, real quick, and I'll pass it on. But, Coach, in our option game, is it strictly just run options most of the time, or are there run pass options in there too? Because it's hard to kind of tell the difference sometimes. I know he fakes play action a lot regardless, but it's kind of hard to tell the difference between the two.
Yeah, we do have them. We really didn't see any in game one. But Hype does have them, certainly. in his tool bag, and we've seen them many times in the past. I think we'll continue to see them with Joe. I think, as we all kind of know, that wrinkle that we're going to see is more and more of the speed option. And then I think we'll start to see some variations off that speed option as well. So I think it's going to be interesting. But I kind of like that take, Sunshine Vol. I would love to see a lot of speed option in this next game. It kind of would keep Florida's defense busy preparing for it. The option takes time to prepare for it. It is a defense, and the more time you have to worry about installing against something like the option, is the more time you're not practicing for all those other little things that Heupel's offense can do. So certainly a way to keep you working on what really isn't the problem at hand. But that would be awesome. And then just continue to play clean football is what I want. It can be vanilla, clean football. I want them to play hard and fast, stay athletic, and I want to see the young kids get in and play well. I want to see more of Nico.
You guys,
and Cam.
I know I said it earlier. If you rewatch a game, I don't know if you guys do. I don't know if you just watch it live on game day, what your approach is to watching a game. But in my rewatch, I'm watching wide receivers to see how they block, because coach is in here talking about this guy blocked well, this guy. And I'm like, how do you know? Like, I'm watching the ball, but I was watching the wide receivers, and they did run a couple of RPOs, because you can see they run routes. That's the difference, Dustin. If it's a designed run, they're engaging in blocks immediately versus an RPO. You're seeing them run maybe a hitch or some type of route. That's where you can see the difference. Yeah. But I'm with coach, man. I like the option stuff. And you saw a lot of read option. I like them throwing in the speed option, because you're making Florida's going to watch the tape against Virginia. They're going to watch the tape against Austin Peay. Give them as much as possible, right, that they have to prepare for.
Yeah. And I like that goal line formation too, where those I forget which players it was, but they didn't even block. They just pushed from behind.
I think it was Spraggins and Tyree West were the two that were in there. Yeah. Let me hit a couple of super chats real quick. We got Dim Barnyard Builds for 5. Thank you for the super chat. I think we do move slower without Cooper Mays, or at least it seemed that way. Do you feel the same, or is it just game one jitters? I feel like they move pretty quick. I think Heupel pumped the brakes a little bit at times, and some of it was Jalen Wright. And Heupel he was laughing about it in the Josh Heupel show. He's like, I gave Jalen Wright a hard time afterwards. I said, Dylan Sampson had 4 touchdowns because you were tapping your helmet. Maybe we need to work on your cardio a little bit. But then he talked about Dylan Sampson's parents and said they were grinning ear from ear because he capitalized on that when Jalen Wright had to come out of the game. But that's the beautiful thing about a 3-headed monster. Like, Jalen Wright was the workhorse. Dylan Sampson capitalized on opportunities.
He was tapping it pretty hard. He didn't take him out for a whole nother play.
Like, he started tapping his belly. He's like tapping his belly, and then he's like, "Get me out of here! I'm about to die." It's like,
oh boy,
come on, bro.
Your buddy Ben McKee called him the best trio in college football on the Post podcast. What do y'all think about that?
I saw some type of meme going around about that. Dauber sent it to me. I've got it screen captured. I may make a video on it, because I think they may be the best. Give me 3 running backs better. There may be a better 1-2 punch.
Right.
You guys think there's a better 3-headed monster than those 3 guys? And then you got Cam Seldon trying to get out there too.
The Gators will try to tell you they have a better 3-headed monster, but I just
couldn't run the ball against Utah, could they?
Right.
Yeah,
the Gators don't have an offensive line either. Can I just make a point? If you watch the games this weekend, I mean, you look at the competition we have for the rest of the year and how they played. South Carolina didn't look good yesterday.
No,
looked good Thursday night. Georgia started slow. I mean, up for us.
Yeah, no, you'll see a lot of change, but so far, totally true. Yeah.
This is kind of off the subject, but did anybody else get blacked out? Because I'm a Spectrum customer, so all my ESPN has been shut down for like 3 days.
No, but I know people who have.
Right before the Florida game.
Spectrum is like an iPhone. You need to throw it in the trash and go get YouTube TV. People have been telling me to get YouTube TV forever. It's good. Dude,
I have Disney Bundle, which has ESPN on it, and when I tried to select my I had to select a TV provider, and the only option that was not listed there was Hulu. And when I entered my username and password, it said, I'm sorry, your subscription plan does not cover this. I thought,
Right.
Was that for
yeah, this is
Spectrum?
some sort of a joke, man.
Yeah,
No,
pissed me off.
it's a Disney bundle has Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. And
You got to have a
Disney
cable
wonders why
provider.
they're hemorrhaging customers left and right.
Yeah, you got to have a
Yeah.
cable provider. Like that's the
Yeah.
thing. If you, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, YouTube TV is the way to go. Like I pay half the price of what I paid for DirecTV, and that's what it's asking for. Daniel, you got to put in your YouTube account, and then it'll let you get it. Like you get ESPN Plus, they're going to limit some of the things you can watch. But I'm telling you guys, YouTube TV is the way to go. Like I don't remember if I said it on air before me and Coach went live. Like I went to record the Tennessee game, and it's like, do you want to record Tennessee, all SEC games, all NCAA games? I'm like, yes, yes, and yes. So every college football game just gets recorded. There's no limit. They're all saved. I can go watch them whenever I want. So it's, like with Spectrum and with DirecTV, you can record 4 shows at a time, and you've got a certain amount of, space that you can save on that. That's not the case with YouTube, man. It's worth it.
And it's just you just sign up straight to YouTube TV. There's no you don't that's your provider. You don't have to have okay.
Because that was my fear too, Dustin. I was like, I was asking my buddy, I was like, dude, if the game's on ESPN Plus, how do I get it? And they were like, you just put YouTube in the same way you did DirecTV, and you'll get it on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, so I have Plus, and that was working, but it's the standard ESPN2, ESPN, and Disney, and all that. And I was just like, "What perfect timing, man!" They knew what they were doing.
8 o'clock on Thursday, bro. 8 o'clock on Thursday.
They pissed some people off. I was like, I thought it was me because me and my internet problems. So I was like scrambling, like trying to put 2 cans together and stand on the roof and all this kind of stuff.
One of the funniest things ever was there was some type of deal. I don't remember what happened. Tennessee was like 500 and playing Vanderbilt. They may have been under 500. A bowl game might not have even been on the line. And for whatever reason, the game wasn't being shown. And JP blew a gasket and starts calling the cable providers. His girlfriend was texting my wife, and she's like, JP's yelling and cussing out some poor woman because you can't watch Vanderbilt when they're 500. It was so funny, but that is just who
That's awesome.
JP is. They could have one win, and he would be cussing somebody over watching Tennessee. Blueberry J24 becomes a member. Isn't that who called me a grifter earlier?
No, I think it was similar, but a little different.
Okay. Shout out Blueberry.
I
J.
could be
Appreciate
wrong,
the
but I think
support.
so.
I don't know. I am a grifter. It is what it is.
Talk about
Daryl, let me catch up here. Daryl Gregory for 5 says GBO. Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate that super chat, brother. Dim Barnyard Builds comes back with another 2. Says Florida has a 435-pound lineman. We'll wear them out fast.
Holy smokes, dude!
They don't want none of that. Yeah, sizes and everything. When you come to the defense, line.
Yeah. Talking about JP cussing somebody out. I remember when I was deployed to Australia, I paid $100 to watch us lose to Georgia State. That was
oh gosh. Were you a Talkin VAWLS person at that time? Did you catch the post game show?
So that actually got me on the channel because I was so angry and mad that I had to watch something to make it make sense.
Oh gosh.
It may have been too. That might have been around when I started too, because I was just like, who can I talk to?
It's the group therapy, right? Now it's so much more fun, isn't it? Like the post game shows, the channel. It's so much different, so much more fun now than it was. Oh gosh.
Coach Jay, I was out in California for about 5 years.
Okay, there you go. What part?
I was in San Clemente.
Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of in the Pasadena, San Gabriel Valley type area.
Got you.
All right.
And are you in
Very
season
cool.
2 right now? Are you playing games on Friday nights and all that?
Yep. Good old foosball, keeping you busy.
You're like, I'm so burnt.
Yeah,
You're like, I'm so burnt. I don't know.
No, I can do it all day, every day. As Boogie knows, I'm kind of in a weird holding pattern right now. My mom might end up needing brain surgery. So there's thank you. Yeah, there's a small chance I'm going to have to kind of take a small sabbatical, but I'm hoping I can stay out there and on the field for the whole season. We'll see how it kind kind of goes before I got to make a decision. We're kind of waiting on the MRI result currently, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Best wishes, brother.
Yeah, thank you. It's not usually like a life-threatening thing. It's called like Chiari. It just basically causes like super, super bad headaches unless they go in to do the surgery. But whenever you're doing brain surgery, it's brain surgery. So yeah. But thank you for your well wishes.
Yeah, you guys go give Coach a follow on Twitter. He doesn't promote himself enough, and when I suck up to Coach Jay, he doesn't like or retweet when I say that. His wife does. He just ignores it. But Coach is a huge asset.
I only
man.
got Twitter so I could talk to you. I didn't have it before that. Yeah.
Just so you could weasel your way into the fan call-in show and then take over the channel. It's not going to be long until I'm gone and Coach just takes over the channel. That's the ultimate goal. Hey man, we're an hour and 40 minutes into this thing. I think we're going to wrap up the fan call-in show. LSU, Florida State tied at 7. Go watch some college football. Enjoy it. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. It's going to be me and Eric Kane. He's going to be in the house. It's going to be a fun show. Can't wait to pick his brain about what he thinks coming out of week 1. BVD is going to be on the back half of that show. Tuesday night, NCAA streams. Wednesday night, I'm really going to get after JP, try to get him in here to do a show. Young Gabe has reemerged. All of a sudden, he says, I am alive. Well, he seems to be ignoring my messages, but maybe he will show up on a Wednesday. You never know. Friday morning, me and Coach Jay, I may send up an invite, see if Ben McKee wants to come hang out. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but tons of content coming your way this week. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. If you want to be a member, hit the join button, all that fun stuff. Go check out the merch, bonfire.com/store/talking balls. But that's going to do it for the coach, for the guy with the freaking liquor cabinet behind him, for Dustin, for Daniel, for the kid. This is the Talking Balls Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
That we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.